3D and AI are the two technologies that are going to change the way fashion industry is going to move forward. In this video, let's see what are the top 5 platforms to learn CLO in 2024. Hi everyone, my name is Vivek. I am the founder of Learn 3D Fashion platform. I have taught more than 2,800 students from across 10 plus countries who comes from brands and platforms like H&M, Zara, Nike, FIT, UAL, and other platforms. So I have a pretty good understanding of the top platforms and what you should know before joining a platform and before even start learning 3D if you haven't started yet. If you are also in the journey of learning 3D, then also the structure is going to really help you. First thing is, what should be the kind of class that you should join, okay? Should it be a live class or it should be a recorded class? In my platform, I provide live classes also and the recorded classes also. What I have realized that most of the people who join live classes, they tend to have a better work, right, that they submit. So the clear reason is that the feedbacks, right? So when you join a live class, you constantly get feedbacks on your work. So that becomes really important to improve your work. Also, I think if you're going for a recorded class, right, then you should always look for this discussion channel or some place where you can ask your queries, you can submit your work and you can get feedbacks on your work, because it's very hard to get feedbacks initially, right? And everybody can start learning 3D, but to improve your work, you need feedback from someone, right? Some instructor. Great. Second is the course structure, right? So what should be the course structure? So let's see. 3D fashion is divided into 5 parts, okay? First is modeling, second is finishing, then it's texturing, then it's rendering, and finally it's animation. So modeling is about converting your basic shape into a desired shape, okay? So 5 parts to learning 3D. Always remember, first part is modeling. So you have a basic torso, you can convert that basic torso into a dress. Now, this whole conversion process involves a very important aspect of 3D fashion, that is pattern making. Pattern making becomes highly essential for doing modeling. If you don't have an idea of pattern making, then it would be very hard. And it would look, we are fashion designers, right? So we need to make our designs in a more technically correct way. So what I mean by that is try to understand. Whatever edits that you do in your garments, okay, those edits had to have a design into it, right? So it need to have that technicality into it so that it is producible also. So therefore, in modeling, pattern making becomes a really essential part and you should not miss it, okay? Now, the second process is called finishing. Finishing is about understanding the garment construction. Suppose this is a sweater, right? So you see the seam here. So this is the finishing process, right? This seams comes by default when you sew a garment, but it doesn't come in 3D. So understanding the sewing, understanding the garment constructions, athleisure wear have different construction, knitwear versus woven, all these things have different construction. Also, the trims used in these garments, right? They are different, right? The sewing machines are different. So you need to understand the different finishing process in a garment, and finishing is a very visual process, so you don't need to actually kind of do everything technically correct, but it has to be visually appealing because it adds realism to your garment. Okay, now the third process it's called texturing. So texturing is about adding fabrics, right? Woven fabric. So suppose you have a plain weave fabric, you have a twill weave fabric, you have a satin fabric, you have a dobby fabric, right? How do you add these fabric? How do you understand suppose you are doing a surface print on a fabric, right? How do you understand its impact on the surface in the front of the fabric versus in the back of the fabric? It's going to look different, right? Suppose you're applying a rubber print, right? So all these processes of creating fabrics and prints, these are called texturing. And there are different maps in texturing, that's a separate issue. But right now, look, why I am telling you this structure is because once you start learning, if you don't give a structure to your learning, then what's going to happen is this: you're just going to watch tutorials, you're going to do those tutorials, you're not going to move forward. So giving structure to your learning becomes so much more important. Okay, so this is for the structuring your learning. Very important. Okay. Now the next process is called rendering. So rendering is all about telling a story through light. Okay. So telling a story through camera angles, through lights, right? Through props and all these things. So in rendering, we basically deal with how to set up different kinds of lights, how to set up props, right? And finally is how to set up our like how to set up the whole scene, right? What kind of a story you want to tell through that particular suppose maybe so through the avatar, right? So the avatar pose, right? Through the props, right? All these things counts as a so you are doing a photo shoot. Imagine like this, right? So you are doing a photo shoot now you are telling a story. So that story has to be communicated through lights, camera, props, and everything around. Okay, great. Now the final piece is called animation. So animation is quite simple. So it's like you have an avatar. There is a motion in the avatar. It has the garments. Now what you do is you run both the things together. The garment will simulate. You add textures. You set up the lights and everything. As you can see, it looks amazingly good, right? So it's adding life to your designs. That is what is animation is about. So again, let's quickly if we can go back and we can see what are the uh, 5 important topics for understanding 3D is. The first topic is modeling. Second is finishing. Modeling, pattern making becomes utterly important. So modeling via pattern making, finishing, texturing, rendering, and animation. So these are the 5 different parts. You need to learn these parts individually, okay? When you are doing modeling, don't think about texturing. When you are doing texturing, don't think about modeling, right? So be in those individual status present, right? So when we compare our 5 platforms, right? So we are going to compare what are the topics and like what are the feedbacks, what are the kind of classes they do, and all these things. So now let's quickly jump into these classes. The first platform is Learn 3D Fashion. This is the platform which I have created. And the reason of creating this platform was very simple, that when I was learning, I was missing so many things. It's just that I had a great friend who was into animation industry at that point. He helped me a lot in terms of structuring my thinking, right? So that's why I created this plan. And let's see, right? We have more than 2,800 students from 10 plus countries. It's a great platform, right? And you can go here and you can check the feedbacks of students. You can see their work, right? What kind of a work they have done. So like, I think you should go through it. You should see by yourself that what are the things that you see like about it. But I just going to go through the course structure because that's the most important thing, right? So you can see, right, like we have covered CLO in detail. Then we have also covered Blender. Blender is a free tool. It's really important to create props and creating that whole rendering. Like if you want to bring some very realism to your garments. Then pattern making is a separate issue, which is very important. Pattern making is the most important because even if you change the software, right? Suppose in future you want to learn browseware. In future, maybe you want to learn OptiText, right? So you can change this, right? You can change the CLO. Everything will remain same. Okay. Then we have a dedicated module for texture development. So how do you create woven? How do you create different kinds of print? How do you create seamless patterns? How do you create lace, knit, woven, embroideries? Everything we have covered. Then you have avatars, like how do you create different avatars? How do you use software like DAZ, Miximo, also Make Human? So these are all free software, by the way, right? Only paid software, I think, here is CLO. That's all. Then we have also covered animation, right? How do you create the animation from the base, right? So how do you take avatar from DAZ or Make Human, move it to Miximo, take it to Blender, combine the animation, get the garment and simulate it, bring it back, right? Also, I've recently covered few other modules like handbags. Community projects are some of the projects that we do with our community. And then I've also added AI. AI is really important. I think you should have a look into it. What are the possibilities and try to adopt it in your workflow. So those are the really important parts. Also, we give you like 500 CLO3D files that you can use. So we have live classes, we have offline classes, but for everything, we also give you a discussion channel. So you can sit and you can basically ask any doubts, get for the feedback. So You can join the self-learning classes also. You can join the live classes also. But I would recommend that you join the live classes. It happens on Sundays. Everybody has time. We run it on multiple times, right? So should not be a problem for you. Better is that you join live. If you cannot still, then you should join for the self-learning. But please be active in the discussion channel. Keep asking questions. Keep sending your work so that you can get constant feedbacks. Great. Second is I found this platform called CLO Virtual Fashion. So CLO has recently launched this course, CLO Virtual Fashion. Now, the thing about this course is that they have done a great job in explaining their software. So look, you need to differentiate between software versus the understanding versus the 3D fashion or digital fashion, okay? 3D fashion is completely different. And as I said, the concepts of modeling, finishing, texturing, rendering, and animation, these are going to be done this can be done on different softwares. So right now, if you want to learn CLO3D, so whenever you are trying to learn a software, I would say, okay, software is just a way to achieve something, right? So you should always learn the concept. Even if the software changes, then you have the concept intact. So you can always keep changing the softwares, okay? Great. So, but they have given 5 courses in which they have basic apparel training, basic material training. But again, the problem with this is that because they are showing you their software, so they are going to always talk about so you can't really get that great materials in CLO, right? You can't. So what they are going to do, they are going to go to the library. They are going to show you that, okay, how to import fabric from their library to the garment. Which right? It's not true because in fashion, the material changes very quickly, right? So that's I found that's the problem. But if you want to understand CLO, want to understand the tools of it, then you can look into this course. By the way, the better would be you can go to their YouTube channel, right? And you can just quickly it's also there. But again, they have really old videos. One more problem, okay, with courses like Udemy and Skillshare and YouTube is that it get older, as the software gets updated, something will not work for you. There will be some problems, right? So in our course, we update it regular basis. So every month or 2 months, whenever any software updates happen, we see what are the problems with the existing material is, and we correct those videos, right? So that we constantly do. But again, because they have made this course recently, so I think they should not have any problems. But again, the one problem that I have is they have made this course to teach their software, right? Not the concept. So there is no pattern making here. So they are just showing you how to use their software. That's it. The third course is the course by FIT, Introduction to CLO3D Garment Visualization Certificate. This course is again a good course, but the problem with this is that you have to take, it's a costlier course. I think it's it's a recorded course, okay? And they have, you have to register for a pattern making course separately, which is 345. Let's see, let's quickly go through it, right? Requirement. So you have to take this, let's see. Okay, yeah, you have to take this course, right? This is pattern making, basics of pattern making, which is around it will be around 300 something dollars, right? $380. So you have to take this separately and then you have to join it. Now the problem is this, that when you take that course versus when you take this course, then the two links will not combine together because they're going to teach this in a separate way, right? Not in the CLO kind of a way, right? But when you learn CLO, that's a separate thing. Okay, so that's one thing. Except this, right now the registrations are, I think it's closed. Yeah, it's closed, so you can join later, right? But the course cost is 1,500, something like that. So this is the second course which I liked. But again, they are not giving you any discussion channel for asking question. You have to mail to the person, right? To the faculty who is teaching it. So that can be one of the little hassle, right? Because every time sending a mail and getting a reply, right? It's difficult. Second is CLO3D virtual fashion. This is the best. I think this is the one of the good course that is there. CLO3D virtual fashion design, and it's a little costlier, like 3,465. Um, 6 to 9 weeks. They are teaching pattern making and construction, which is great. Fundamentals, and they are also teaching surface design, trims and hardwares, embroideries, prints and graphics, and CLO3D presentation, styling and animation. So their program is good. I really like this. So they have the important piece pattern making, that is great. Surface design and trims, embroideries, how to create custom trims and become familiar, great. CLO3D presentation, styling and animation, that is not really required. It's like colorways, like that's fine. Uh, Two things that is missing is the animation part. When they teach, they will just show you how to do animation in CLO, which is like few clicks, which you can't customize actually, right? So that's one problem. Uh, Animation has, so for example, like if you will see, right, in our course animation, we don't teach anything related to CLO. So in CLO, you get some walking animations, right? You can just put the garments on it and just record it, right? Every time that doesn't really work out that well for you, okay? So what we have done is this: we have combined DAZ, Miximo, Blender, and we just take garment simulation from CLO because that's what it's great at. So you understand different pieces of it, how, what is rigging, right? How do you animate? How do you export different animations together? How do you work with different files? So all these things are really important. So that is missing. That's perfectly fine. But this is a good course. I like this course, but the cost is in a very higher side. Okay, that's it. Okay, now the next course is the Digital Fashion Group Academy. Great course. They, by the way, they have participated with the new school, right? The Parsons, and they are helping them to create this course. So let's open the Digital Fashion Academy, right? So they have one with Parson, one with 3 Digital Fashion Fundamental, right? $1,200, which is decent enough. Okay, so let's open their course, right? Um, okay. Let's look into the, by the way, they are just giving the recorded classes. So they will be having only the recorded videos. Every week they release one part, right? It's like that. Second is, let's see the structure of the course: kickoff, introduction. Okay, great. One, okay. Then they have unit one, the, okay, that's fine. I'm looking for patterning, pattern transformation, digital recreation, designing 3D environment, focus on instruction, building, construction and reconstruction. No, 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 no. Okay, so they haven't covered pattern making. Okay, so they are not covering the pattern making here. Okay, unit 3. Yeah, so they do cover prints and how to make patterns, but not the pattern making. Look, the concept of pattern making is really important because I'll tell you, suppose you want to insert a pleats, okay, in the center front, and you want to use it as a style element, right? How would you do that? How would you give, so, and adding pleats is not just like you can add whatever you want, right? You need to be very precise in that, right? Suppose you want to create a princess line through the dart manipulation technique, right? How you're going to do that? So all these techniques of dart manipulation, gatherings, pleats, so these are very technical subject that you need to understand in a technical way, because we call it fashion design, right? Not art, right? So when we say design, like we also have to understand the producibility side of it also. So that what makes it make it more important, right? So I think uh, when I don't find pattern making in detail, that's what I feel like. That's why even I designed my course, right? Because when I was in college, in the fashion college, we used to learn pattern making, but it was very hard to translate the same learning into flow, right? So what I used to do at that point of time was I used to take help from my faculty, and then I used to convert that. Then so it was a lot of feedbacks that I used to get, right? Because I was in a college, it was a little bit more fun, right? If you don't understand the fundamentals of pattern making, it would be difficult for you. So you need to have that interaction, right? You need to have that like the technical part also covered. Otherwise, it would not be worth your time. So these are some of the courses. Like I think I showed you 3D fashion, like my platform Learn 3D fashion, right? I showed you CLO. This is a great like Udemy. This by the CLO is great way to start understanding CLO. Okay, so that's one. Uh, FIT, I don't really like it. Like it's fine. Like if you want the certificate so bad, but the problem with certificate is this, that your work has to be great, right? So even the certificate is not going to work for you if your work is not great, right? That's a problem, right? So that is one thing. Second is you have to take multiple courses, by the way, in FIT. So that's going to be a little hard, right? Second is I really like the Parson. Like Parson, they do cover pattern making, right? So I kind of like it. I hope they cover pattern making in detail. Okay, like they covered all the principles of dart manipulation, sleeves, basic bodice, torso, skirt patterns, and all these things. I hope they haven't given. So one more thing, nobody has given the feedbacks of students, right? Can you see? Like nobody has, like these are the big institutes, right? So they haven't given the feedbacks. Like in Udemy you have the feedbacks, but in FIT and like Parson they have not given any feedbacks. Maybe they are so huge that they don't feel the need of it. I don't know, whatever it is. uh, okay. And then the Digital Fashion Group Academy, so these are good platforms. Last thing, you can also try learning platforms, like you can also learn things from YouTube, Skillshare, and Udemy. There are multiple courses, right? I don't have a problem, but let me tell you one specific problem that I faced when I was learning CLO. Whenever you learn anything, the structure of your learning, right? That, okay, how you are learning it, and then the structure to that learning, first this, second this, third this, that is really important. In YouTube, what happens is this: once we start searching, the videos are way back, something is not working, it creates a lot of hassle, right? Also, there is no structure to your learning, so you're always trying to figure out new videos of how to make a sleeve, then you are lost, and then you are trying to make a, I don't know, then you are trying to figure out how to put a button, right? So there is no structure to your learning, and so you're going to waste a lot of times. And whenever you are stuck, right, something is not working for you, so you tend to have this issue that there is no one, right, like that is there to help you out, right? So you need someone to help. Okay, so you're going to do Google, you waste a lot of time. Same happens with Udemy and Skillshare also. I don't like those platforms to learn. If you are starting with, I think, CLO3D, you can try the Udemy course by CLO. I think that would be good. Or you can try something from YouTube also. That should be fine. But once you are more serious about learning it in a really nice way, because I think, look, 3D AI, these are the two technology which are going to change the way fashion designers work. Okay, and fashion industry is working. So if these the two like if you really want to get into 3D and like 3D, then I think you should look for some better alternative. I think I'll recommend two courses. One is by me, Learn 3D Fashion. Second is I like the Parson, right? So they are giving a little bit more detail in pattern making. So two courses. You can also go for this Digital Fashion Group Academy, right? It's just that they have not covered pattern making, and I don't like it. I don't like anything that is not technically correct. I'll tell you the reason is very simple. You can't make stuff that are not producible. Otherwise, what is the use of doing this? Otherwise, you can just use sculpting also, right? So the reason of using CLO, the reason of using these 3D software is that you are producing it digitally. You can also convert that in the physical world. That's the beauty of it, right? And yes, and if you are not learning pattern making in the process, then it's not the correct way of learning. All right. So I think, guys, these are the different courses that I think you should try. If you have not started CLO3D, you should start it right now. It's really great. Okay. If you haven't started understanding how 3D is impacting, you should start. I'll make a video in which I'll show you what are the possibilities of AI is in fashion. Okay. So these are the things I think you should keep in mind. And in future, I'll make more videos in which I'll be able to help you better to understand how 3D fashion is, where it is going, how different companies are adopting these technologies. If you're more interested, you can join the community. Okay. Newsletter kind of, every week I publish some of the advancement that is happening in the 3D world. And it's better that you you can just go through it, right? It will help you. All right, guys, really nice to have you all. I hope this was informative. I hope this was, right? Okay, take care. Bye-bye. If you join the course, we'll see you in the class.